Can we all just say that Crow is a motherfucking badass? Like, this man, what he did in this episode, like, yo. That was a good fight. That was a good fight in RWBY Volume 4. That was solid. That was awesome to see Crow go all in, go all out, and just fight Tyrion. That was such a good fight. It really was. And there's a lot of other things that happened in this episode, but I just want to talk about that first. That Crow fight was so awesome. Just seeing this man, he's fighting, they're like on equal ground, like they're both fighting as equals. And then all of a sudden, this man loses his weapon. And as soon as he loses his weapon, he looks at his hands and all that. He's like, okay. And he's just beating the fucking shit out of it. Like, you know what I mean? If he fucking used his weapons, like his hands as a goddamn weapon, he's like, my hands are a deadly weapon, dude. He just beat the shit out of this man. Fucking hit him in the face, all that. And this man gets all fucked up. He's like, whoa, what the fuck is going on? I mean, just seeing this man Crow go in with his fist and all that, that was just the highlight of the fight. I mean, he's fighting with his weapon. He's just doing all these badass moves, maneuvering around and shit. And then all of a sudden, as soon as he loses his weapon, he's like, okay, starts beating the fucking shit out of this man with his fist. That was the highlight of the fight. That was really good. That was a good moment, just seeing this man punching this man square right in the face. Just like, boom, right in the fucking face. Like, yo. Oh, yeah. So besides that, let's talk about the poison situation. So Crow, he takes a hit from the tail of Tyrion, and we see the tail kind of get cut off thanks to RWBY, and we can see kind of the poison leaking out of it. So it does confirm there was poison in the tail. The main question is, will Crow die? Now, I want to be honest here. I could see Crow dying in the series. I could definitely see Crow dying. Before everything is done, before the series is over, I could see Crow dying. However, I don't want Crow to die to poison. It feels very cliche. And honestly, it would just be a horrible way to kill off such a great character. I feel like if he's gonna die, he should die fighting Salem or something. I mean, I feel like he should die in a big fight. If he will die, he needs to die in something big. I feel like him dying to poison would just not suit his character at all. So I really hope Rooster Teeth does not go down that path with the poison and kill this man off. Maybe he'll be weakened, maybe he won't be as strong. I'm fine with that. And I could see him getting into a fight and all that and him dying then. I just don't want him dying just to poison. It wouldn't be something I'd be really fine with. For instance, him getting poisoned, he doesn't say anything to, RWBY and them, and then all of a sudden he just kills over because, he was poisoned, there was no antidote or cure or anything, he just died. I really hope something like that does not happen. I really hope not. But regardless of that, though, the fight, I have to say, that's probably the best fighting animation I have seen since Monty's, passing. That was definitely, by far, probably the best yet. I mean, that was not Monty level still, but just the way the fight was done was fucking epic. I just loved the way the camera was moving around while they were fighting, to the different angles with the backgrounds and stuff. It was just this epic way to showcase what was going on, especially when they were jumping on the rooftops and stuff on the side of the walls, and you just see how, they were parrying each other, blocking and stuff. Just a really good fight scene. It was a really solid fight scene, and I do commend Rooster Teeth for that fight. Now, getting off of that, though, let's talk about, the beef, like the information we received in this episode. So, Ozpin isn't dead. Ozpin is alive. And all the theories and different things that many people have been talking about for a while now, that Ozpin could possibly be immortal, he's not completely dead, this person, Oscar, most likely is the reincarnation of Ozpin, all these different things, most of it actually proves to be true with this episode. So, Ozpin, after his death, he did die. Like, it is confirmed Ozpin did die, but his soul and mind carried on, and he fused with someone else's soul, which is Oscar, and then now it's like two people became one, and then Oscar is now like Ozpin. But we found out from Ozpin that Ozpin in the past, he went through something very similar. He was someone that was like Oscar, but then someone entered his mind, and then the soul fused. That's kind of what's going on here. And so what is happening to Oscar happened to Ozpin, and Oscar right now has to accept that he is now a different person. He's no longer normal. He is no longer just by himself. He now is was a mixture of multiple people inside of him. Not just Ozpin, but remember, Ozpin fused with someone else as well. He had someone come into him and fuse with his soul too. So it's not just Ozpin and Oscar, but it's others too. So when you think about it like that, it's kind of tragic in a way, because this boy has this task just thrown on top of him like this, and he didn't even really ask for it. He's just living his life, and all of a sudden now he has to do stuff like this. I kind of feel bad for him. I really do. But the Ozpin situation has been confirmed. He is alive, in a way. He's dead, but alive. So Cinder isn't necessarily wrong. What Cinder said of how she killed him, she saw him die, Cinder wasn't lying. She definitely was not lying to sell him completely. But how was Cinder supposed to know that this man had immortality, where his soul could carry on to someone else? So, it's not Cinder's fault. I can still see Salem in the future probably getting very pissed off as she sees Ozpin, and then probably wanting to kill, you know, Cinder because of it. I could see something like that happening, because, I mean, the way Cinder is right now, the way she is powerless and all that, she can't really speak. I mean, she's in a situation where many would just want to kill her off. The villain organization will just cut her loose and just she'll be dead as fuck. So, she's in a very bad and tight situation. Even though she did right, she did kill Ozpin, but he's still alive technically. It's still gonna make probably Salem not like her. It probably won't at all. So yeah, I mean, Ozpin's alive, and I mean, right now, you have to where Oscar as a character, he's gonna be very important. You can see where he's kind of being integrated into the story, and now he's trying to figure out how he can live like he is. I mean, right now he's trying to come to terms with someone entering his body. I mean, you gotta realize, that'd be rather fucking rough. I mean, one day, you're by yourself, like, just imagine right now, you're just, you know, in your room, you're chilling, watching a video or whatever, and then all of a sudden you have this voice pop in your head start talking to you, you're gonna feel like you're crazy. You're gonna feel like, whoa, what the hell's wrong with me? Am I crazy? Am I going crazy? Like, why am I hearing this voice? But in reality, someone entered your body, and now it's just two people inside one body. That's gonna be a tough life to live. It really will. And I mean, you gotta remember, Ozpin has another person inside of him as well, so that's multiple people sharing one body. That's tragic. So, with that being said, let's talk about Weiss. So, Weiss, that was such an emotional scene with Weiss, and it's to be expected from her father. I saw something like this happening, but the way he went about it was just so scummy, and so was Whitley. Weiss's brother is just such a fucking scumbag. Like, oh my god. Okay, so I pegged this brother of Weiss to be a scumbag. Like, I expect him not to be someone that good at all, because, I mean, the way he was smiling in the pictures, and you saw, you know, the sisters, they were unhappy, not smiling at all. It just seemed like this boy was planning stuff, and it seemed like he had his own different angles. And, I mean, we don't even know if he's truly on his father's side completely, but he knew what was going to happen and how Weiss was going to self-destruct, and there we go. That's what happened. And now he is the heir to the family business, while Weiss has been shafted and she no longer will be able to lead her family. So that's kind of fucked up. I mean, what happened to Weiss is to be expected with her public outrage. I mean, regardless if Weiss was correct or not, which she was correct. I'm completely on Weiss's side with how she reacted in that room. She could have maybe went a little bit different about it, but overall, though, her feelings and thoughts were there, and I agree with what Weiss did. I agree with what she did, how she had an outrage and all that, and what she said needed to be said. Maybe a little bit differently, but what was said needed to be said. So I agree with her, but it was still a public outrage, and that's going to make the family overall look bad. And when you're in business and you're doing things, that's not good to have. So her getting punished makes sense. Maybe, you know, being grounded and not being able to leave, I expected that. However, her rights to being the heir of the company being just stripped away from her, that was really disgusting, because the way the father went about it, it reminds me a lot of how certain businesses are. Like, let's put an example here. When there's like a guy, like a CEO, okay? Let's say a CEO, he's the leader, and he has to take all the blame or fall for anything that happens wrong, okay? Like, if something happens, even if his subordinates do something, he has to take the fall for it. He has to take all that blame, and he has to, probably lose his job. And that's usually what happens to a CEO, or someone that is about to be in a certain position like a CEO. And that's kind of what was happening to Weiss. She was in a good position, she was up there, and she had a good position, and thanks to other people and all that, she was forced to resign and all that, and like, her words were put in her mouth. Like, her father said, oh, you just resigned after the public outrage and all that, and when you passed over the leadership over to your brother to lead the company. And so the father was kind of acting like a businessman to his own family. And when you do that to your own family, it just shows you what type of person you are. You should never mix business and family. I know many say you should never mix business and hobby, but I don't think you should ever mix business and family. That's one of my big things about that, because I mean, if you start mixing business and family together, there's going to be issues. It's kind of like having a family business. If you mix that, it can cause a lot of issues. I'm not saying it cannot work. I'm just saying there tends to be disputes. Depending on the type of person and however the leader of the business is, there can be strife between the family members, like firing to removing you from position, stuff like that, and it can cause problems in, you know, your personal life. And with this happening, the father treated his daughter like a fucking business person. That's exactly how he treated her. He treated her not as his daughter, but as someone that is like just an employee. That's exactly how he treated her, and that's disgusting. That's really disgusting how Weiss's father treated her. I mean, we already knew he was using Weiss as like a tool for him to benefit his own company, but now seeing this alone, it just shows you what type of father he is. He's willing to use his own flesh and blood as someone like an employee. Like they're just a regular employee to him. He won't even hold love and attachment to you. He'll use you like an employee and he'll be done with you, throw you under the bus. That's exactly what he did. So, yeah, I feel bad for Weiss, but I don't think she's going to escape just yet. I want to be honest here, Weiss escaping just yet would be kind of dumb. I feel like she should probably train, study a little bit more, and then she can leave and escape this place and then do her own thing. I could see something like that happening. I mean, this is going to be some good character development for Weiss. I mean, if we remember, she's now being removed from her family. All of her rights have been stripped, so now she no longer has that connection to this dust company. So when she's out there venturing in the world, she won't have her father's support at all. Nothing at all. So this will add some really interesting development for her, and I can't wait to see where Rooster Teeth takes her character. So with that being said, I just want to say Happy Christmas, Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays to all of you Chibits that are watching this video. And if you watch this video many days later afterwards, I still wish you all many, many great days to come. Merry Christmas. I just want to wish you all a very, very great rest of the year and many great years to come. So you all have a wonderful day or night wherever you live. Please be safe. Chibi out.